Chapter 1, The Song of the Veil. The moon hung low over the quiet village of Eldryn, its silver light casting long shadows over cobblestone streets. Beneath the soft glow, 18-year-old Kael stood at the edge of the forest, his heart pounding. The Song of the Veil was calling again, a melody so haunting and beautiful that it seemed to come from the stars themselves. He wasn't supposed to be here. The elders forbade anyone from approaching the Veilwood, the ancient forest that bordered Eldryn. They claimed the woods were alive, watching, waiting, and always hungry for trespassers. But tonight, Kael couldn't resist. The song wasn't just music, it was a voice, whispering his name on the wind. Kael, the sound brushed past his ear like a lover's sigh, and he shivered. Behind him, the faint lights of Eldryn flickered in the distance. His mother would be furious when she realized he'd slipped away, but something deep inside urged him forward. As he crossed the threshold into the forest, the air seemed to thrum with energy. The trees were impossibly tall, their branches weaving into a canopy that blocked the stars. The song grew louder, wrapping around him in layers of harmony. Each note tugged at his chest, pulling him deeper into the Veilwood. He had never heard anything so beautiful, or so sorrowful. "What are you?" he whispered, his voice barely audible over the melody. The response was immediate. The trees seemed to part before him, revealing a hidden glade bathed in pale, ethereal light. At its center stood a figure cloaked in shadow, their form indistinct but undeniably human. "Kael," the figure said, their voice a perfect echo of the song. "You have come." Kael's breath caught in his throat. You've been calling me." "I have," the figure replied. "You are the one I've been waiting for. The Veilwood has chosen you." "Chosen me for what?" he asked, fear and curiosity warring within him. The figure stepped closer, and Kael caught a glimpse of glowing eyes beneath their hood. "To restore the balance. The veil between worlds is weakening, and with it, the peace that holds them together. You must decide, will you cross into the beyond and take up the mantle, or will you turn back and leave the veil to crumble?" Kael stared at the figure, his mind racing. He had heard the elders speak of the veil in hushed tones, how it separated their world from realms of chaos and magic. If it truly fell, what horrors might be unleashed? "I don't understand," he said. "Why me?" The figure's gaze pierced him, unyielding and ancient. "Because you can hear the song. Only those who hear it can mend the veil." The glade was silent save for the faint hum of the song, now low and mournful. Kael looked down at his hands, trembling with uncertainty. Could he really be the one to save the veil? He was just a boy, a farmer's son with no knowledge of magic or the worlds beyond. But the Veilwood had chosen him. And deep down, he knew there was no turning back. "What do I have to do?" he asked, his voice steady despite the fear coursing through him. The figure extended a hand, dark and shimmering like smoke. "Take my hand, and the journey will begin." Kael hesitated for only a moment before reaching out. As their fingers touched, a surge of energy shot through him. The glade vanished in a blinding flash of light, and the ground seemed to fall away beneath his feet. When he opened his eyes, he was no longer in the Veilwood. Instead, he stood in a vast, endless expanse, where the sky shimmered with colors he had no name for. The figure was gone, but their voice echoed in his mind. "Welcome to the beyond, Kael. Your story begins here."